Alright, welcome back to some more Corpse Party Book of Shadows, or I should say, because I tried doing the, chapter 6, I believe it was, and yeah, it just was not clicking with me. I'm pretty much done with this type of playstyle and stuff. I don't really exactly like how this game you have like little options, and what options that you are given, it takes over an hour to get to said options, and so it feels like I'm reading a book more so, which I don't mind reading books whenever I have to say every single thing out loud for about an hour with no type of like break, pretty much. It kind of gets old, so I took the liberty to just go through Mire and Tooth by myself, which only took me like literally probably 20 minutes to do, if that, by just skipping everything. And I got to Blood Drive, which yeah, Blood Drive came out like about a week ago. A little less than a week ago if this goes up on Sunday, which I hope it does. And picked it up, but reason why I haven't recorded any of it, or any of this, or anything, is because I've been out of town in St. Augustine, which I barely got, like, there wasn't really any ghost encounters there, except for one that may or may not have happened, and had to do with me going to the bathroom and, maybe or maybe not being touched right above my butt. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. Been out of town since Tuesday and got back Friday. Friday I was hurting, and here we are on Saturday. So, yeah, I'm gonna just go through Blood Drive and make this like whole entire video part 0 for Blood Drive the game. And yeah, because as you can tell, I've played this, it's taken me 2 years to get to this point without any spoilers or whatsoever for me. And yeah, I'm sick and tired of trying to play this game and just not getting through it, because I really don't want to read anything, or read and then not get into any type of action or even a choice until over an hour later. Hence, Mire episode. So yeah, without further ado, let's go into it. Check out the prologue of this game that took about 1.5 years to get made. Actually, a little more than 1.5 years. Hey, Naomi. So does this actually take place, like, after that cutscene that happens at the very beginning of the game? Because, yeah, finally, huh?
でね、うちの子が言うにはさ、あの事件は学校で流行ってる学校裏サイトが絡んでるとかね。怖いわね。
And you know what my kid told me? He said that incident was connected with an underground website that's gotten real popular at his school.
ああ、ちょっと前にニュースでも話題になったわね。プログがいじめの温床になっているとか、出会い系の的にされてるとか。まだあるのあれって。
Oh, I think I heard about that on the news a while back. Profiles being used for bullying and to find dates. Is that kind of stuff still going on?
今でこそあまりニュースとかで表面化しないけど、まだまだ続いてるみたいよ。
Actually, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, because I'd rather read the great text and leave the voiceovers in, but yeah.
うちの子もやってるのかしらね。聞いてみようかしら。
Nah, your kid's fine. He's a goody two-shoes. Not. Jeez, Naomi, quit eavesdropping and being downed. We
学
know
校帰りの夕方、私はまた来てしまった。
we know that pretty much every person that you knew in Heavenly Host is dead and is not even being remembered. But yeah.
目の前に聖子の家のインターホンがある。
Oh, this is Seiko's house.
もうここに来てから1時間以上、ずっと襲うかどうか迷い続けている。
Come on, face your fears.
このままいても本当に不審者だ。昨日も一昨日も私はここで長い間立ち尽くして家に引き返していた。今日こそはと思いを固めてきたんだ。意を決して襲う。
See who lives there now. Apparently Seiko's siblings still live there, but wait. Didn't her mother die? Wait.
ほらみんな飛び出しちゃダメだぞ。
ゆうくんだ。聖子の弟の。
よし整列。ちゃんと靴履いて。うん、ほら帽子が曲がってる。いい子だな。よしよし。じゃあ兄ちゃんと手つないでいくぞ。ちゃんと買い物に行けるかな、ケイ、アヤ。
Oh boy, it's you taking over. Also, do I have a... Oh wait, that's right, it's... Even if I press the D-pad or whatever, it goes on.
いい返事だ。
私はとっさに物陰に隠れてしまった。ゆうくんやあの子たちは確かに聖子の兄弟たちだ。そう、私はあの子たちに会いたくて来たんだ。何を話せばいいのかわからない。でも聖子は確かにいたんだから。
Are you sure? You're sure?
この携帯の写メを見せて、お姉ちゃんだよって聖子のことを聞こう。
I think that's a bad idea.
大丈夫、説明すれば大丈夫。わからないなんて言うわけがない。
I mean, if I had to say so myself, after all, if you saw a picture, that they may have never seen before, and showed it to them, they might accuse you of something that you kinda sorta didn't do.
私は心を決めて潜んでいた物陰から出た。ねえ！声をかけた私の腕を後ろから誰かが掴んで引っ張った。誰？
It's the guy with the huge hammer!
ダメよ、ダメ。
Oh. Hi, Ayumi. What are you doing here?
委員長、気持ちわかるけどダメ。委員長、篠崎さんが首を横に振って私を制止する。みるみる自分の視界が滲んでいく。あの子たちに会ってどうするの？分かってるでしょ、結果は。だって私は涙が止まらなくなってその場にしゃがみ込んだ。委員長も目に涙を浮かべて私を見つめていた。 私の気持ちを本当に理解して共有してくれるのは。
You know what? I'll be right back. I'm gonna try one last thing. Considering this isn't even looking to be like a scary game or anything right now, and it's just a prologue leading into the scariness, aka blood drive. Okay, I turned the voices off, considering I don't think we're gonna run into ghosts or anything. If we do, I'll turn the volume back up for the voices, but otherwise, yeah. Only those of us who returned from Heavenly Host Elementary School alive, only Shinozaki, Satoshi, Kishinuma, and Yuka. As for those who lost their lives there, Seiko, Suzumoto, Morishige, and Miss Shishido, we came back to find that their very existence was wiped clean from this world entirely. Nakashima. Hey. I was walking home, defeated and dejected, with the class rep at my side when she suddenly addressed me. It sounded like she wanted to tell me something. I've been doing research these last couple of weeks at the library, looking up information about the Shinozaki estate. That's the house where Yoshi and Sachiko Shinozaki lived, the place that the beings in control of Heavenly Host once called home. You might recall that the newspaper articles we found about the kidnapping and murder incident gave precious little info about Sachiko. And aside from local papers... Right. Let me just say flight mode. And aside from local papers, nobody even bothered covering the news about Yoshi's death at all. Digging up this information was no small feat. She was looking down at her feet and kept a steady, quiet tone the whole time she was talking. It seemed like this was all leading up to something. But she was kind of an expert when it came to ghosts and the occult and such, so I trusted her. I wanted to know where she was going with this. It seems Yoshi Shinozaki's former home is here, in this prefecture. It's in the outskirts, by the mountains. Her home? Like Yoshi's? And Sachiko's? Yep, right in our backyard. It's that close? Yeah, Heavenly Host once stood where Kisaragi is now, after all. And since Yoshi Shinozaki worked there, it makes sense her home wouldn't be too terribly far away. Naho mentioned in her notes, too, remember? That's where she salvaged the original Sachiko proxy for the ritual. So, yeah, seems like a good place for us to find something, don't you think? The origin of the Shinozaki family's curse rests within those walls, and I believe there must be some clue there that could help shed light on it. She had my full attention now. I swallowed hard, as if I were taking it all in. I got an address, too. If we take the train, we could be there in less than an hour. So what do you say, Nakashima? Let's go check it out. Right now. The Shinozaki estate. I was haunted by the memories of Heavenly Host, and this would entail visiting the source of it all, where the danger would be far greater, yet somehow. Lead on, class rep. It was right around 4:30 in the afternoon. The day was already cooling into the night, and the sun would surely be setting shortly after we arrived at our destination. But neither of us really cared. I just wanted to be there, as soon as humanly possible. If there were even the slightest chance of finding answers, I'd welcome it. The two of us went right to the station and hopped on the very next train we could find out to the countryside, grasping at straws for all we were worth. I began to wish I'd gone back to change clothes before we left. But if I'd done that, I'd have to explain to Mom where I was going, and I sincerely doubt she would have been amenable to the idea. I could have always just gone anyway, of course, but then I'd be directly disobeying my mother, and undoubtedly making her worry sick about me. Aren't you kind of doing that now, though? Yeah, just disobeying her, but without coming straight home and getting her worried where you are as you take your time. The class rep and I were seated next to each other on a local commuter train I'd never ridden before. There were only 2 other passengers. Much like us, they were simply staring down at the ground and riding in silence, lost in their own thoughts. Nowhere to go, darkness everywhere. I'll stand by my friends. And I forget the words I made up. These last couple weeks had been brutal. All 5 of us who survived were feeling it. We were more exhausted than we'd ever been. Okay, enough. In our entire lives. But no matter how crazy people said we were, no matter how much our souls ached from the memories, we could never forget Seiko and the others. Every photo we had of them, though, be it on film or digital, had its face blacked out completely. And the scariest, saddest thing I could imagine was the passage of time. Because eventually, I knew I'd have trouble remembering what they looked like. Listen, I want to run something by you. We're the only ones who have memory of this, of Miss Yui, Suzumoto, Shinohara, and Morishige, right? Because if you die in Heavenly Host, it's as if you never existed in the first place. You're erased from the collective memory of everyone in the real world. Why was she bringing this up? I just looked down at my knees, trying unsuccessfully to fight back the tears that were welling up in my eyes yet again. Well, have a look at this. Naho's nods to the netherworld. It's just that Spirit Medium Girls blog, right? Yeah, but that never was explained. Why was her memories never thrown out, including her blog? Doesn't anything seem odd about it to you? The blog's final entry was that one detailing the Sachiko Ever After ritual. But we already knew that. There were no updates after it because... Wait. Didn't Naho die? Right! The class rep nodded and looked into my eyes. Naho lost her life in Heavenly Host Elementary School, just like everyone else. But how can that be? I'm not sure of the reason, but this is proof positive. Proof that not everyone who dies in the school gets erased from existence. I checked on her mentor, Mr. Hibiki, too. He also died in Heavenly Host, but just like Naho, there's still ample record of his existence. I was literally on the edge of my seat. Yeah, that should be even more, like... That should be even more mysterious, considering while Naho was kind of possessed and stuff, Hibiki was not possessed and shouldn't have anything to do, so it should only be Naho's memory, like, that should be still out in the world and stuff, because Mr. Hibiki had nothing to do with that whatsoever, unless it's, like, just her memories, including her past mentor and stuff, are there, but I would think that would just be a name, no actual memories of him. I was literally on the edge of my seat, leaning in close and hanging on every word. She flashed me a smile. So let's not give up hope, okay? Okay! I was crying hard now, but for the first time since we'd come back, I could see the tiniest, faintest glimmer of hope in the darkness. It wasn't much to go on, but it was easily the best news I'd heard in 2 weeks, and it made me feel a lot better about this impromptu trip. Even just with one vague clue, improved our chances of finding something at... Holy crap! Between burping and frickin' yawning. At the Shinozaki estate, significantly, at least now, we knew what to look for. Now arriving at Kishi Station. Kishinuma? Guess we're here. Man, we're really out in the boonies, aren't we? The air smells so... delicious! I wouldn't think delicious as the first word, but okay. It's nice, isn't it? And we were fortunate to get here while there's still some light left. We should find the estate before it gets dark. Yeah. This was the end of the line. A desolate farming community, with nothing but farmhouses and fields as far as the eye could see. There was only one main road, and due to the mountainside setting of this picturesque village, it maintained a gradual upward slope the whole way. Not a lot of people around. Yeah, and here I was kind of hoping I could meet with one of the locals and ask some questions. Evidently, the Shinazaki's family had a lot of clout here once, and were held in high esteem. Really? Since you're a Shinozaki too, I wonder if you have some distant ancestry in common with them or something. I guess it's possible, but there are an awful lot of Shinozakis in Japan, you know. Yeah, kind of like there's a bunch of, like, Makotos. That's true. So, are we going the right way? Yeah, but there's not a lot of Shinozakis that are into ghost stuff, like, since Sachiko's a ghost and you're into the occult and stuff. I think it's this way. Yeah, but to be honest, the address I found didn't have a house number, so I'm not entirely sure. Oh, but what about your cell phone? Doesn't it have that GPS thing? Can't we use that to figure out where we're going? Yeah, this was probably made, or this was probably, like, thought up and stuff before smartphones were a thing and stuff. I already tried, but it looks like there's no map data on file for this area, which is actually very strange. If you say so. The road was paved the whole way, but it was full of cracks and holes, resulting in countless tiny pebbles and patches of sand crunching around our feet. Under our feet. Same thing. and the darker it got, the more noticeable the sound of the uneven terrain became. There was something unsettling about the idea of two schoolgirls in uniform walking through a strange, largely deserted village at the cusp of twilight. Doesn't look twilight, it's freaking blue skies still. Hey, I really think we should stop and ask someone for directions. How about we pay, I don't know, that house a visit? Or maybe that one? One of the two. She was pointing at the one house, or at one of the isolated farmhouses directly in front of us. Sounds good. It is getting dark after all. Let's pick up the pace. Excuse me?
Yeah, what do you want?
Hello? Maybe they're not home. Let's try someplace else. Okay. That scared the crap out of me. What was that? Ah! Yeah, I don't like this. Let's get away from here. It sounded like she was knocking on the door when she was saying that still. I know it's a little unsettling, but if we don't get some information, we'll never find the place. So, come on. Let's try asking that one. This time she was pointing to a slightly more inviting-looking residence nearby, sporting a blue roof. Is it that one, or is it that one? Hello? You actually have a door and walls, so you look a lot more friendlier compared to a black screen. Hello? Is anyone home? Oh.
Yes?
Ah, good evening, miss. We're a bit lost, and would be very grateful if you could help us find our way. I could see the figure of a middle-aged woman through the frosted glass door. I wasn't sure if she was actually going to open it for us, given that we were strangers and she was, by all appearances, a woman alone in an isolated house. Oh!
What's all this, then?
Ah, good evening. I'm sorry to bother you so late. We've come all the way from Fujisawa, and we're trying to find a certain residence.
Oh my! What cute little visitors! And coming all this way, with the sun going down, no less.
Thank goodness. She seemed like a perfectly normal, perfectly kind old woman. I took my place next to the class rep and bowed my head in respect.
So where is it you're trying to go, then, missies?
No, she's not looking crazy yet. I don't even see her. I'm trying to reach this address, but I don't have a house number. This is all I know.
Let's see here. What business do you have at the Shinozaki estate?
We're investigating something. Right?
Don't say right, like we're questioning that.
Hello? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's, for a school assignment. Yeah, that's it, a school assignment.
Yeah, she's not frickin' believing this bullcrap story.
The old lady's demeanor changed in an instant. She made herself as large as she could and began pushing us out of her house.
Oh, lovely.
Ah! Miss, is something wrong?
Get out! Come on! Get out of here!
What? What was that all about? She's still staring at us, you know. Just seeing the words Shinozaki Estate seemed to send her off the deep end. This could be a problem.
It's still light out.
The day was fading fast. The sky was still blue for now, but it was getting darker by the minute. Street lights were popping all around us. Let's try to find another house. There must be someone around here who will tell us what we need to know. Yeah, you'd think. Ah! That old lady is still standing there, right inside the door. Oh God, you're right. Why? Is she still watching us? Let's go, okay? This is getting really creepy. I told you she was staring at us still. She seemed like such a kind old woman, too, when she first answered the door, but now she felt menacing. The sudden change was almost staggering. 6:30, huh?
Yeah. 6:30 on my watch would be really close to sunset, considering between 6:54 and 7 is sunset for here right now.
Yeah. We walked for quite a while after that. The fields and trees were becoming more plentiful, while houses were becoming a much rarer sight. The road's incline had gotten a lot steeper, too. We were literally climbing a mountain now, and the likelihood of finding the house we sought, or any house at—
Hey! I wasn't done with that! What's the right button?
The likelihood of finding the house we sought, or any house at all, seemed to be lessening with every step.
Yeah, that's how sensitive the control sticks are for the Vita.
Ah! A car! Car coming! Watch out, Nakishima! Thanks. We pushed ourselves against the guardrail and waited for the car approaching from behind to pass by before we continued our trek.
Are they gonna try to run them over? Hey! What are you couple of schoolgirls doing at a place like this? It's dangerous to be walking around the road, you know.
The mini pickup pulled up alongside us, and an older gentleman stuck his head out the window. He seemed like a sociable sort. We're actually looking for the Shinazaki residence. If you have any idea where that is.
Shinazaki! Ah, yeah! The old Shinazaki estate. It's up that-a-way! Deep in the mountains! Yeah, deep in the mountains, all the way past that big old mountain over there, the shadows.
Just up ahead?
Yep!
Well, that's good. We've been going the right way after all.
Yeah, but it's a ways there. If Yins is walking, it's gonna take you a good long while. I mean, that shadow of a mountain is pretty far after all. Yep! Don't know what business you got in that place like that, but hop in if you want. I'll take you up.
The class rep and I looked one another in square in the eyes. He seemed like a little shady, but it was getting pretty late, and as they say, beggars can't be choosers. We wouldn't get another opportunity like this.
Yeah, but if you think about it, wouldn't it be better to just come after school the following day or something? Because, if it's getting late, imagine the trek back.
So we thanked the old man and got in his truck.
Truck's supposed to be a 3-seater, but it's kind of crowded. Sorry about that. You kind of don't look like an old man. Like, your hair's gray, but it's a dark gray, not a light white gray.
That's quite all right. We're very grateful. If we kept on walking, it would have been nighttime before we knew it.
Well, I sure ain't got a lot of old business up at the old Shinazaki estate on the mountains these days. Why are you two going up there anyhow?
Well, I'm not really sure how to put it. Let's just say there's some information we're trying to find.
Information?
About a nurse who lived there a long time ago. A woman named Yoshi Shinazaki.
Are you sure it's a good idea to be talking about, like, stuff that's going on at Heavenly Host and all? Just saying. Yeah, back in the day, it used to be a home run clinic. It did. Lots of people went up there all the time. But nobody goes near it anymore. Don't know what kind of shape it'll be in.
We just kept driving farther up the mountain path, and the higher we got, the rougher the ride became. Road maintenance was clearly not a priority here.
Well, probably because it's pretty much abandoned.
With 4 tires on 4 different elevations at any given point in time, the whole truck was being rocked to its core. Ow! Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Just glad I'm wearing my seatbelt.
Yeah, Yumi. Are you wearing yours? It's probably a lap belt.
This is quite the road, isn't it, mister? Ah! The old man's driving was starting to frighten me. I could see Ayumi's face bouncing up and down, and it honestly felt like we were in a runaway vehicle.
It's because he's a ghost!
Mister? Aren't you going a little fast?
Ah! Ah! That didn't look as frightened. Also, did her head change positions, or was that just me? Pant. Pant.
My heart was beating a mile a minute. There was a person on the road, wasn't it? That was
A person on the road.
the class rep and I had both gone pale. We looked over at the old man.
He's okay. Whatever it was, I didn't hit it. What? Believe me, you hit a person or an animal on the road, it makes a bigger noise than that. Yeah, okay, old man.
This old man seemed to have gone a little weird now as well, and much like the old woman in town, he started off so kind and helpful. Who was that? In the road?
Don't know. Hey, ain't a line. Can't go no farther by car. You're gonna have to hoof it. You going or you want me to drive you back? Bye.
Thank you very much, sir.
I'll be waiting for you. You just come back when you're done. I can't rightly leave you 2 little girls out here all by themselves after all. Right.
Thank you for your consideration. Class rep, are you okay? That was scary. There was definitely something strange about him, but he did say he'll wait for us, so I think he's a good person where it counts. Yeah, I guess you're right.
I'm not going to mean to offend old people or anything, but you do know that old people do tend to start driving a little sporadically in their upper ages. I mean, he didn't look like he was in his upper ages, but then again,
Look at, what's his name? What's his name? The guy that made, like, Super Smash Brothers or whatever. He's in his, what, 40s, but looks like he's in his 20s? This suck. It starts with a S, I know that. The sun was setting rapidly, and evening was in full stride, and at the top of this uncompromisingly steep road sat Yoshi Shinazaki's home and clinic. Oh, look! It plateaus up ahead. Is that the place? We finally made it. Is this? There's nothing here. This had to be the place, the site of the Shinazaki estate, but there was no house here anymore. The building was torn down. It was just an empty lot. And after we came all this way, too. Wait, hold up. Look over there. Is that a barn? You're right. I wonder why this was spared, if the estate wasn't. It was a small barn on the edge of the property, and remarkably, when I flipped the light switch, the lights actually came on. It still had electricity! Is this possible? Yeah, it's kind of giving me the creeps. Despite our misgivings, we'd gone far outside our comfort zone to get here, so we set about searching this mysterious barn for any answers. It's the tale of the haunted barn. Are you serious? We're searching? Okay. First time we're searching stuff. There's a mess of old cardboard boxes here, along with a rusted toolbox, and any number of other odds and ends. There doesn't seem to be anything particularly useful on or among any of them, however. Hey, look! This box has Shinazaki 1 written on it, or the first. You're right! I guess that means this really was Yoshi Shinazaki's house at some point. What about this bag? It's a hemp sack that's filled to the brim with some kind of grain. Probably feed for the farm animals. Guess they had chickens or something here. Yeah. What turned blue? I see something that turned blue. Is it this? It's a large drum that seems to have once been used for burning waste products. Nothing but soot and ash inside. I wonder what was burned in here. I don't know, but looks like a plain old ash to me. But it could have been anything, even a body. Okay, that was stupid to say, but whatever. Light bulb? Is there anything else like this? Is this? It's an old worn out blanket that someone seems to have left here. Somebody from the outside must have sought shelter in here at some point. Oh yeah, maybe. I guess just getting out of the wind isn't always enough. And it is starting to get kind of cold in here, with the sun down. Yeah. We spent another half hour or so rifling through the barn from floor to ceiling, looking for anything we could possibly find that might help us. I don't see a single thing in here that sheds any light on Yoshi or Sachiko Shinazaki at all. It's full on night outside, too, and we've kept that poor old man waiting long enough. It seemed like a waste to leave here empty-handed, but we'd done all we could. For today, at least, it was time to start heading home. Can't believe all that's left is a barn. Yeah. We should come back tomorrow a little earlier. I like to try talking to more of the locals. Sounds like a plan. I switched those voices out for some reason. It felt like the sun had been setting forever, but now it was nowhere in sight. The wooded mountains all around us were cloaked in a veil of darkness. There weren't any lights to help guide our path either, so we really couldn't see where we were going. Man, it's dark. Was this the way we came?
Oh no, don't tell me you're lost in the woods. If you're lost in the woods, that sucks.
We need to find our way back to the road. I think that's it. Though, since I remember just walking straight toward the barn. Ah! Class rep, look! Don't tell me it's the frickin' house.
Oh!
Nestled among the branches just beyond a small grove of trees, the inside of the tiny truck shone like a beacon in the night. It's the old man's truck! Yeah, it has to be. Thank goodness. I didn't much like the idea of getting stranded in the woods.
Yeah, that would really suck again. Frickin' Blair Witch Project going on.
There was something oddly fulfilling about getting out and actually doing something. Success or no, it felt so much more fruitful than moping about at home. I didn't care if it was a fool's errand. As long as I just kept looking day after day, I felt like I could move on. It wasn't hope. It was purpose. Seiko taught me that. Sorry to keep you waiting. Huh?
Yeah, it was too good to be true.
Don't tell me.
Ah, fudge!
Wait, where's the old man? Maybe we were gone too long for him. I mean, it is cold, but maybe he had to, you know, do the one? She began scratching her head and blushing a bit, clearly embarrassed at the suggestion. Oh, yeah, well, maybe. He left the engine running, so he could be back soon. Let's just wait for him. It's so chilly out here, though. My stomach's freezing. I'm sure he wouldn't mind if we waited inside the truck, right?
Oh, don't tell me he'll forget and then frickin' go chasing us.
That's true. Okay then, class reps first. Huh? Oh good, it's locked. Well that sucks. Guess we don't have much of a choice. Let's just wait it out here.
Did he lock his keys in the car? Because
it's so cold outside. What time is it anyway?
1:55 in the morning. Yeah, my watch is on the recharge stand right now. Oh, it's only 8:17.
About the right time for cold night air, really. The old man's not coming back, is he? So what do we do? It was so dark we couldn't even see the road, and climbing all the way back down would require far more of a hike than we were prepared for.
Think of frickin' something else.
I noticed when we were in the truck coming up here, but there are an awful lot of spots along the road where the guardrail is out. There were indeed. I could easily imagine being blissfully unaware that we were near the edge of the road, then slipping and falling down the mountain.
Yeah! In other words, that would be a horrible idea.
And since there are no lights, walking seems pretty dangerous, don't you think?
Yeah, unless you have one of these.
You have a point. We should probably just keep waiting. If the old man is off, doing his business, then he'll probably be back any minute anyways. Yeah, it is cold, but I say we wait.
Stand in front of the light. It won't frickin' be that cold.
So we waited, and eventually a half hour had passed, still with no sign of the old man's return.
Is that car gonna run out of battery power or something? Leaving a car on without doing anything, it's kind of bad for the car.
Where on earth could he be? I don't think he's coming back. But he even left the engine running! The only sound that either of us could hear in this dense, dark forest was that of the truck's engine idling away.
That is really bad for the frickin' battery, let me say.
So what do we do? At this rate, we'll never get home! Phone's out of range, so we can't call anybody.
1 hour later.
I guess our only choice is Nakashima. What do you think about returning to that barn? I mean, it's got light at least. Why the barn? Well, if we can't get back down the mountain tonight, we should at least take shelter and rest until morning, don't you think? It just seems safer than staying here.
Are you freaking insane? It's safer to go inside of the barn of a nurse that is from a haunted school? Are you freaking out of your mind?
Look, a barn of a nurse from a haunted school where their estate doesn't exist anymore.
That freaking blanket in there obviously says the person went missing because they didn't take their blanket with them.
So we're going to spend the night? I shuddered at the thought of spending the whole night on this cold, dark mountain, but she was right. We really didn't have much of a choice. I agreed with her that this was the only real course of action that made sense, but safer than staying here?
There's freaking headlights on. I mean, I would only go to that freaking barn if the headlights went off of that car because the battery went dead. And then that's on the old man, because seriously.
Yeah, I just get a bad feeling from this road. Or from this whole mountain, really.
Really?
It's like there's some kind of presence, and our best bet for dealing with it is to go someplace well lit and get out of the elements. You feel a presence? Is it something we should be afraid of? I don't know. I'm not even sure if it's a person or something else.
Why do I have a piece of hair in my mouth?
And it could be one presence, or many. All I can really say is that we're being watched.
Yeah, by a perverted old man.
Okay, then let's hurry up and get back to that barn. Finding ourselves with no other choice, we put the road behind us, began walking up the dirt path leading back to the Shinozaki family's
barn.
However,
do not tell me that the house is there.
Was the barn this far from the road before?
Is this what happened to the old man? He got freaking lost in the woods? The woods with only bare trees in them?
This is weird. It's really weird. It's like the road leading up to it just vanished. Does this mean we're... Wait, don't wander off! Sorry, come on. Let's try retracing our steps. We'll just turn around and go back the way we came. Sounds good to me. pant. We are going the right way, aren't we? Shouldn't we be seeing the road soon? Where are we?
On top of a mountaintop!
Something about, a peppermint patty or whatever. Oh god, no. We're lost. Lost in the middle of the damn forest! What? Yes, we were definitely lost. There were literally nothing but coniferous trees as far as the eye could see. In every direction, dark, looming trees. Their tall, thin forms were casting a web of shadows all along the mountainside, obscuring our vision of anything at all outside our immediate surroundings. Don't you have a compass on your phone? Don't I have a compass on my phone? Come on. Read my freaking finger, damn it! Fine! Don't read my finger for some stupid reason. I'll just type the long password into my phone. Yeah, don't I have a freaking compass on my phone? Or did they get rid of that app? No. Yeah! A compass! Hooray for compasses! Oh, hello. And then random things! Hooray! Okay. Yeah, but it won't work. It uses GPS. Yeah, that's true too. Oh. It does? Why can't this stupid thing get any location data? God, what good is it if it craps out on me when I need it the most? Land of living? What? Did you just hear a voice? I couldn't make out what it was saying, but yeah, that sounded like a person. Maybe it was just the wind in the trees, though. At any rate, we need to find our way off of this mountain. Do you have any ideas? I mean, we shouldn't just wander aimlessly. That's true. If we got lost in the mountains, they say you should never head toward low ground. I didn't know that. The best course of action is probably just to stay in place and wait for daybreak, but it's cold and we have no tent. Maybe if we huddle together? Really? Really? That's fine, but I'm good to walk at least a little longer. So how about we keep at it for a bit? If we get near enough to the road, we might see the truck. Okay. Yeah, the truck's not gonna be there now, is it? If they frickin' find it. I swear we've walked right by those trees before already. But there's no way we could be walking in circles, is there? Actually, there kinda sorta is. 'Cause, you see, whenever you are walking in a forest, this is why you always mark where you're going. Whenever you're walking in a forest, you pretty much... one foot might go at a longer distance than the other foot, and so you could be pretty much be walking in a curved line, and pretty much that curved line will go eventually back into a complete circle. And that really sucks. And that is how you get lost in a forest. Everything looked the same up here. No matter where we went, we both began to wonder if we were making any progress at all. What is it? Over there! I heard something. Huh? Where? Where was it?
Yeah! Is he a perverted old man?
God, what next? What was that?
Ah!
Huh? We kept clinging to the faint hope that we might soon emerge from these endless woods, but all that got us was a 2 good hours worth of slogging. The rough terrain was killing our legs, and our stamina had been worn down to the bone. I can't move anymore. The class rep plopped herself down on the bed of dry leaves on the ground, and just as she did... Whoa. Class rep! Look! Look!
Hmm? I wouldn't be smiling at this situation.
Ah! Beyond the silhouette of many conifers, at the edge of our vision, a faint light could be seen. We're saved! Thank you, Nakashima. Thank you for noticing that. No problem. Let's go!
Is it the truck?
We were both dead tired and our legs hurt like hell, but we forgot all of that at the sight of possible salvation and just took off running.
It's called adrenaline, folks.
As it happens, the barn we'd been looking for all this time was the source of the light. Those naked light bulbs shone like beacons in the night sky. Thank God! Oh, it's the barn! I thought it was going to be the old man's truck! Yeah, me too. But this is even better. The barn is what we were looking for after all. But I don't remember leaving the lights on when we left. Do you? We should have shut them off, yeah. But it's certainly possible we didn't. Well, if we're the ones who left them on, then we just saved our own asses. So I guess I should thank goodness for small favors. All we had to do was push through some undergrowth as tall as we were, and then we'd be there. Seems we'd somehow circled around to the back of the lot. We made it. Let's go inside, shall we? Sure. Man, just having light makes all the differences in the world, doesn't it? My phone's clock was showing just past 10:40. I started thinking about home, and about how much my mom must be worrying by now. Feeling a bit sad, and I hesitated at the barn door, when all of a sudden...
Ah, yeah, that should be...
The class rep let out nearly a voiceless cry of absolute shock. She was staring into the darkness just past the building and shuddering in terror. What's wrong? Nakashima, look, right next to the barn. Huh? What I saw there was something that couldn't be. Something far beyond my imagination and comprehension alike.
A ghost house.
That's... what? How can that... There, where the Shinozaki estate once stood, in what was nothing more than an abandoned lot only a few hours earlier. An old, humble residence now rose above us. It seemed almost to be floating in the air, but it was very clearly an actual corporeal building. The two of us stood staring at it for several minutes, completely dumbfounded. Why? It wasn't there this evening, was it? It wasn't. It definitely wasn't, but... So why is it there now? How should I know? I had goosebumps all over my body.
Yeah, goosebumps. Yeah. Yeah. Didn't that come out like 2 days ago or something on Friday?
And in a cold sweat had begun tracing lines down my back. Is it just me, or is it glowing? What are we even looking at? Aside from its more ethereal qualities, it was just an old beat-up 2-story farmhouse. But sure enough, the nameplate by the door read Shinazaki. This was, without a doubt, the house where Yoshi and Sachiko Shinazaki lived.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go over all those sound effects.
Oh god, you're hyperventilating! Are you alright? The class rep raised a hand to stop me from intervening. I'm okay, but thank you. I just have to keep my mouth closed, and it'll pass.
Sniffle, snort, wheeze.
Hey, Nakashima. I think now's our chance.
I would be saying, are you freaking kidding me? You want me to go inside a glowing house that wasn't there earlier? A glowing house, again, that wasn't there earlier, so that maybe when the sun comes up, it'll disappear with us in it? That's a great idea. What?
We came here to learn the secrets of the Shinazaki estate, and, well, here we are. It's inviting us in. It's daring us to look around.
Yeah, I wouldn't be going for that dare.
You mean go in there? I know it's really scary, but we can't turn back now.
Gazing at the imposing structure, she took a deep breath. Then, after collecting herself, she walked right up to the front door and tried sliding it open. It gave no resistance at all.
Let's go.
Wait a second! Bye? Of course the lights aren't gonna work. Where the hell's the frickin' house's electricity plugged in at?
Paranormal lighting?
Yeah, that's the name of the electric company that it would be powered under. The
Phantom Estate house had no power, it seemed. The barn still has working lights, but not the main house?
It's not probably connected to the ground, that's why.
Fortunately, there was a flashlight on a nearby table.
How freaking lucky is that? It's not like someone left it there for us to take and use.
The class rep picked it up and switched it on, illuminating the wall across from the entrance.
Yeah, I could see it having probably a very bright blue lighting because of it also running on paranormal lighting.
Not that there was much to see. The entranceway itself was extremely small, breaking off to the right at a solid wooden door just a few steps in. A quick pan to the left then revealed a steep hardwood staircase leading up, and that was pretty much the entire room. Be careful. The energy in here is strong. She'd gone completely pale. I could tell just by looking at her that she'd sensed something. Her eyes shone with a mixture of terror and determination.
Determination.
It's much darker than Heavenly Host. The energy in this house is jet black. Really? Don't let your guard down. Not for 1 second. Thinking back, our first steps into this house were basically the start of it all. It was at that point that we'd left the world of the ordinary far behind. Simply being able to see these walls, these floors, these ceilings with our naked eyes directly defied the laws of nature. The house itself was a ghost. Literally anything could happen in here. I knew that, and was doing everything I could to brace myself for the trials ahead. But the fear was still there, and the shaking wouldn't stop. I don't really know how to explain it, but there's something like a literal wave of emotional turmoil cutting right through the air in here. It's pretty deeply ingrained, too. I wonder what happened before this place was torn down. See what I mean by pretty much 30 minutes or more of talking and hardly any searching or whatever? Ag! The shoe shelves are full of dead rats. Oh, the rats are alive! And each one of them, without exception, has its stomach dug out. Oh! Oh. Never mind! Maybe they ate each other. Hopefully they ate each other. It's an old picture frame, but the glass is broken and there's no picture inside. It's a landscape painting of a lake somewhere. It's hard to tell in its light, but it looks almost like the lake's surface is comprised entirely of outstretched hands reaching up from below. It couldn't be much more unsettling. This mirror frightens me. I'd rather not look into it at all if I can help it. Why not? Well, a mirror is an object that people peer into. And over time, their thoughts and feelings can burn themselves into the glass. It's very common. Yeah! Mirrors in haunted places can be very bad. Now that you mention it, I guess mirrors do kind of make me feel like I'm being watched, even though I know it's just me in there. That wasn't me in Nakashima I saw just now. It looked like Sachiko and Shinohara. Maybe it was just my imagination. Let's look at all the other things before picking a place to go. There are a couple of framed photographs of Sachiko here, dressed in a formal kimono. It looks like they were taken during the Shinto Shichigo-san festival, where children of ages 7, 5, and 3 gather to pray for luck and longevity. A small plaque is placed below them, with embossed letters that read Sachiko, just before her 7th birthday, best wishes for a long happy life. What about that picture? Oh, it said couple. Never mind. Shut up. What about outside the window? The glass is thoroughly clouded over, making it impossible to see outside. Lovely! In addition, the window has no handles or grips of any kind, suggesting it was never meant to be opened. Lovely. Anything on the floor? Oh! Ew. So, I guess, well, we're not darkening, but, I guess there's a lot here. The door isn't locked, nor is it shielded shut like in the school, but it still won't open. There seems to be something heavy blocking it from the other side. The staircase is very plain, and the stairs themselves are exceptionally steep. They're also quite old and seem to have absorbed a good deal of moisture, so it would be best to take care when climbing them. These stairs sure don't feel safe. Yeah! Ow! Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. The floorboards here are pretty well rotted through, though, so be careful. Be really careful. Best to hang on to the wall for leverage as you go.
That is creepy to look up.
It's so weird. This is a house that shouldn't even exist, but we can touch everything. We can pick it all up. It's all real. I seem to recall reading about cases before where... My voice is getting freaking dust inside of it, it feels like. Where the house itself is basically just a spiritual echo. But this seems totally different.
Yeah, this is not creepy at all.
I probably shouldn't even be up here yet. F it. That was a hallway, by the way. That didn't look like a hallway. This particular bedroom looks like it's been converted into a study? Seems out of place considering the family. Whose study was it?
Yeah, screw voice acting. It's gonna freaking...
Screw talking like a girl, I should say, with a higher pitch. It's gonna screw up my voice. The desk is piled with dust, but the items situated on it are neat and tidy. Neat and tidy, not near. Whoever used it was very organized. Eh? Right in the middle of the desk sits a lone key, completely covered in dry blood. Take it. Acquired key to Yoshi's room. Oh, jeez. Wait, do you hear something? It sounded like footsteps echoing through the wooden frame of the house, specifically like someone with leather shoes walking around on the first floor.
The class rep and I looked at one another, shuddered. After a moment, the footsteps began stomping loudly on the steps. Oh no! It's coming towards us! We have to hide! We scrambled against the wall of the room, leaving the door ever so slightly ajar so we could survey the staircase. The staircase, yes. Gah!
There really is something in here with us. Something walking around the halls. God, I can't take this anymore. The constant, unrelenting pressure of this search was beginning to take its toll on me. The class rep, sensing my agitation, took my hands in hers. Keep it together, Nakashima. Stay strong. Remember Heavenly Host. If we allow these holes to form in our hearts, we'll just fall prey to the darkening. You're right. Thank you.
I guess it's gone.
Too bad we can't get a description of the bedroom key.
Just, it's a bedroom key.
The bookshelf is full of old books that have been thoroughly wrecked with age. Every one of them is yellow, musty, and falling apart. It's the frame to an old mirror that's long since been busted out. Where the looking glass once stood, there's now a creepy drawing of an old lady. It's just a rough sketch, but it looks absolutely realistic, as if it could jump up and jump out of the frame at any moment.
Let's look at the chair. One of its right legs is bent beyond repair, and there's a thick layer of dust piled on top of it. No one's been sitting here in a long time. Top of the lamp. Well, that was worth a shot. Shut up. No, it was not. It was plugged in. None of this stuff really runs... Not what I wanted to do. Runs on paranormal electric. The door's locked. But it looks like the key from the other room fits. There were photos of Sachiko all over the room, virtually everywhere. There was a place for them. Her mother clearly held her very dear. What the hell is this? What the hell is that? Pictures of Sachiko are sprawled out all across the surface of the desk. However, like so many objects in the Heavenly Host, they are fixed to the surface as if they were mere decoration. They can't be picked up or even moved. There's a tiny kimono on the box, sized for a young girl. The style looks similar to the ones worn at the Shichigo-san festival, which would make this Sachiko's for sure. So the notes are all separated, are you serious? Picture after picture, each depicting some happy moment in the Shinozaki family life. Yoshi's overwhelming love for Sachiko came through in every shot. What is all that all about? Ew! The photographs depicting the Shinozaki women were all fine, but those that showed Sachiko with both her parents were all a bit different. Each one of them, the man who was presumably Yoshi's husband, had his face completely blacked out with a ballpoint pen. That has to be Sachiko's dad, right? But why? Looking around the room it really was every single photograph that depicted this man. His face was inked out in literally every picture. So what's this now? Looks like a safe. Appears to be an embedded wall safe with a circular padlock and a panel of buttons comprised of the digits 0 through 9. Let me see. This looks almost like some kind of vault, doesn't it? We tried pressing the buttons at random in hopes of opening the lock by pure chance, but that didn't do a thing. Following the spin clockwise indicator etched into the steel safe, we tried spinning the lock itself as well, but had no luck with that either. In fact, as soon as the lock made one full rotation, all the buttons we pressed suddenly popped back out. So we're dealing with a combination lock safe surrounded by photos of Sachiko from when she was still alive. If Yoshi's the one who set the combination, it's probably safe to assume it has something to do with Sachiko, like her birth date or something? You know, you're absolutely right. It must be something really simple. Whoever used this safe would have chosen something they wouldn't forget after all. The question is, what would that something be? We tried a handful of different combinations based on homonyms, rhyming, and the like. But every time we just spin the lock, hear a metallic thunk and watch as the numbers reset on us. Sachiko. Come on, think! We made it back from Heavenly Host Elementary alive, so there must be some tidbit of knowledge we can use. What had we actually learned about Sachiko, though? Number-wise, all I could come up with was an approximate height, and that didn't work. What was it that plaque in the stairwell said? Sachiko just before her 7th birthday? The kimono
she was wearing in the picture was an exact match from the one we found in that box in the middle of this room. It seemed as if Yoshi were really fixated on Sachiko turning 7. So what about just the number 7 by itself? It was a long shot, but... Hey! I got it! Wow, nice job, Nakashima! The area of the wall all around the safe opened up like a secret door, with a combination lock holding in place and serving as a doorknob. Beyond the tiny door, a door so small that we had to crawl to fit through it, was a long staircase stretching down into a hidden underground room. Yeah. Spiderwebs, and the dust here is really thick. Hey, come on. I want to see too. Is it some kind of storehouse, maybe? I tried to get a better look at what we were crawling into, but the stairs went so far down that even with the flashlight, it was just too dark. So, this is a hidden passageway that shouldn't exist inside a building that shouldn't exist? I think the danger level has reached its peak here. Feels like we're standing at the entrance to some realm that's not even part of this world. Class rep looked me right in the eye. I was scared, but I knew exactly what she was going to say. She didn't need to speak a single word. Even if all that awaited us down here was an unimaginably horrific end, we were standing at the source of the answers we were so desperately sought. We so desperately sought. Oh, jeez. We were poised to uncover the truth behind the curse of Sachiko Shinozaki. This was the gate to a new world. If we turned back, we'd regret it for the rest of our lives. So the two of us just looked one another in the eyes and nodded. We were ready to descend the staircase into whatever abyss lurked up below. I don't think not even Naho made it this far, so be careful, Nakashima. Stay alert and focus down there, no matter what happens. She'd begun descending to the stairs ahead of me, but stopped and looked back after only a few steps to issue me this one last warning. I nodded again. It's those same footsteps. There really is something else in here with us, wandering around. It sounds like it's on the 2nd floor. They were extremely close. It sounded as if they were poised just outside the door of Yoshi's room, just a few feet away. Nakashima, down the staircase. Hurry. Okay. Question mark, question mark, question mark. And so the two of us fled through the secret door and down the stairs, no more hesitation. The wooden steps creaked and groaned beneath us, even more than the ones from the main stairwell. Felt like they might fall apart at any moment. We took one step at a time, swallowing our fear and just pushing onward until eventually, finally, we arrived in a small, damp, musty room underground. Are you all right? There's a lot of junk on the ground here, so be careful where you walk. Okay. There was no light down here with us whatsoever, save for the class rep's shaky flashlight beam, and all that beam revealed was a mess of books and clutter. With a twist of the wrist, it then shone upon a desk containing a chaotic mountain of books, loose-leaf notes, documents, and assorted beakers and flasks. It looked like some mad scientist had done some research and conducted all manners of untold experiments down here. What's that? It looks like someone's family tree. The class rep shot over toward a desk farther in, her interest piqued by a glimpse of a large document spread out on its surface. I followed her lead. You need light too, don't you? Sorry, There's a desk over there with saw blades and other sharp tools on it, so it's kind of dangerous. Stay where you are. Genealogy chart? Gifted line? It really is a family tree. But what does it mean by gifted? Shinozaki, Mifune, Shimamura, Miranagao. Oh, I recognize some of these names! That's right. It's not necessarily a lie. There were many individuals born in the closing days of the Meiji period who possessed remarkable powers. These people achieved fame for their thoughtography abilities and psychic talents prior to the so-called Shinrigan Jiken, or clairvoyance controversy. Chizuko Mifune and Ikuko Nagao. Oh man, I am really getting out of it. Were particularly noteworthy figures at the time, and whether their abilities were real or not is beside the point. What matters is that even after the scientific community discredited such abilities, the truly gifted continued exploring them anyway, often in secret. So if they're the gifted line, does that mean Yoshi and Sachiko were descended from those famous clairvoyants? It sure seemed that way, and from the looks of it, the Shinozaki line was never blessed with male heirs either. It's a matrilineal house that passed its blood and family name down from mother to daughter, generation after generation, through adopted son-in-laws. I was certain if I traced this family tree far enough, I'd find the names Yoshi and Sachiko. Ah, there they were! And just like everyone before her, Yoshi had married a man who had been adopted into the family in order to keep the Shinozaki name. Looks like the root of the tree is this person named Sarah? And Yoshi's mother name is Rocky? She was the eldest daughter in her family and had no brothers, so that makes Yoshi a thoroughbred, a direct, unfiltered descendant of Sarah. I guess it stands to reason, then, that she'd have so much power and influence even as a spirit. The rapping is getting pretty loud in here. All these adopted fathers who continued the family line died suddenly after their children were born, it seems, without even one single exception. It's like the family line had a mind of its own, and went to great lengths to eliminate the blood of other lines once it had served its purpose. These are men who are willing to give up their own birthrights and take another's name for the sake of love. It must have been hard on the Shinozaki women. Daddy's not breathing. No. Darling, no! I suppose this was a fate that just couldn't be averted. Such a strong spiritual influence. Kanai Shinozaki Hirohito Ayato? That's my grandmother, my grandfather, and my dad! I remember hearing that my grandfather was adopted into my grandmother's family and passed away shortly after my dad was born. The head of the family had 3 daughters, and Grandma Kanai is descended from the youngest. I thought it was creepy enough just having the same last name, but to think my family is actually from the same lineage as Yoshi and Sachiko. Am I gifted then? What does that even mean? Hey, did you find something? It's pitch black and really creepy just standing here, you know. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll be right there. In fact, fire hazard or no, how about I lend you one of my candles? The class rep had an old, oversized sheet of paper in her hand that was shaking wildly. Did she find some crucial piece of information, I wondered? Book of Shadows. Ah! Class rep? Are you okay? It hurts. My head feels like it's being crushed in a vice. I'm not screaming. No, stop this. Keep it together. Pant, wheeze, groan, stammer. She suddenly turned toward one corner of the room and froze completely, gazing intently at the wall. Her eyes became wide as saucers. She was like a cat who'd stiffened up and just kept staring into the thin air, on high alert for no discernible reason. And just as cat owners often left wondering what their pets are seeing, I too wondered if she was looking at something or had heard a noise maybe. I was worried about her, but really I was more scared than anything. I grabbed her and tried to shake her out of this disconcerting trance. Class rep, what's wrong? But she brushed me off and held up a hand as if to say, hold it right there. Then she began walking slowly toward the corner she'd been watching. There didn't seem to be anything special about it. It looked no different from anything else in the room. It was just an ordinary wall. For a few moments longer, the class rep just stood there, gazing at this empty space. Then, no explanation, she began tearing away loose boards. It wasn't difficult to do. The entire room was old and in tremendous disrepair, and the wood was quite thoroughly rotted. Each board came off easily. Eventually, small gaps began to form. She stuck her fingers into these, and pulled, yanking away whole chunks of wall, forming bigger and bigger crevices. These crevices then finally merged into one big gaping hole, through which a hidden subroom, no, bigger than a closet, had now been fully exposed. And within that subroom sat a thick, dark tome.
And what do we have in this tome that does not look as thick in real life? Like, it's not even really a tome, and it doesn't look the same as in this box.
It's the Book of Shadows! Why is this in Japan? What's going on? What's the Book of Shadows? Whatever it was clearly a very old book, and it didn't even look like it was bound from paper. There were small ornamental patterns sewn into it, all of which had certain disconcerting quality about them. In addition, a liquid that looked just as much like blood as it did ink had pulled into multi-hued stains all across the lip of the front cover. And that grotesque cover was already unpleasant looking enough to begin with.
Yeah, that looks really yeah. Although I don't really think this is actually yeah, I don't think that's actually what this is. It's
called The Dying Art Grimoire. So, there's no mistaking it. These pages were made from human skin and animal hide. Ew! This is, without a doubt, the Book of Shadows. Sis told me about it. It's a dark tome with a long history wrought in blood passed down from generation to generation in secret. It dates back to the tumultuous days of the witch hunts that occurred at the end of the Middle Ages, primarily in Europe. Witch hunts? Yeah, mass paranoia led to the indiscriminate persecution and slaughter of as many as 40,000 people. They were suspected of practicing black magic by making pacts with the devil. So the churches and local communities brought them to trial, where they were almost always subjected to horrible torture and eventually executed, usually in really cruel ways. People began blaming them for natural disasters, poverty, and other unfortunate realities of life, and influential individuals used them as scapegoats. The vast majority of those killed were just innocent victims of circumstance who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But there were a few. There were a few gifted people among them who had legitimately mastered the practical use of magic. Gifted people? And what do you mean practical use of magic? Are you talking like witches flying around on brooms and stuff? That's impossible. Hee hee. It is hard to believe, isn't it? But I want you to know everything about this, Ayumi. About the things in this world that science can't quite explain. About the paranormal. I'm already familiar with your studies, though. You taught me the laws of the natural world, and that the true nature of magic is prayer. It makes sense, too. It's really easy to understand how powers like that would work. But anything more than that, like flying around on brooms and stuff, that just seems like fantasy to me. And I'm sure that's what Dad and Mom must have thought too, when I told them I was interested in Wicca. To them, it's all just dangerous fantasy. Though there are also the Shinazaki family roots to consider. But that's a long story, so how about we save it for another time? Huh? Okay. Witches, you see, were usually village elders and sages back in those days, conducting themselves with intelligence, dignity, and honor. So when the witch hunts began, they were smart enough to hide their powers from the public view, and as a result, ironically, the majority of them survived. But even after the ban of witchcraft was lifted, the memories of what happened remained, and the black arts continued to be socially shunned. Eventually, the powers of magic began to fade with disuse, and the witches feared that these powers, passed from generation to generation throughout their long, proud history, were in danger of being lost forever. So they began chronicling them on paper in painstaking detail for all posterity. And that chronicle is right here, the Book of Shadows. Passed from one gifted mage to another, revised and appended countless times, a complete guide to witchcraft, detailing spells pertaining to all creation. You may have heard of Al-Azif, that infamous Lovecraftian grimoire that everybody says is just a work of fiction. I think I've heard of that, actually. But whenever this book comes up, even among researchers, people always debate whether or not it's real. They always admit it's a possibility. Supposedly, it contains a complete listing of white and black magic spells, all matters of lost arts, and even some forbidden acts of sorcery. As in, the really dangerous kind of magic?
Yeah, I kind of know where this is kind of sort of going. Like, if you've played the original 98 Corpse Party, and I've only read about it, if you got one of the bad endings for it, I think it's like one of the worst bad endings for it, actually. Yeah, Satoshi kind of sort of finds Ayumi entranced in the Book of Shadows, and yeah, bad things happen. Bad things.
It would be really dangerous in the wrong hands. That's why it was supposed to have been enshrined and kept under watch by the witch's descendants. So why is something like that here, then tucked away in a hidden room in rural Japan?
Well, obviously because the witches died by a stupid principal. I gotta say that.
I don't know, but it's been a good half a century or so since anyone's been able to prove they laid eyes on it. And that's led many people to start doubting its existence. The class rep suddenly picked up the book and began casually thumbing through it.
I wouldn't be touching a book that, like, had this face that actually was like, actually this is kind of detailed, but I mean, like, felt like human skin and stuff. Ugh. As if she were looking up a word in the dictionary.
Hey, is it really okay to be holding that?
Much less opening it?
Yeah, it can't hurt to take a quick look.
Yeah, say that to the people that usually, like, such as the Book of Death. Yeah, that goes over well whenever you take a peek in it.
The tome, with its cover that seemed to have been stitched together from the hides of many different animals, looked heavy in the class rep's hand. She became instantly engrossed in its contents as she hungrily flipped through the pages, one after another. As for me, all I could do was watch in awe as my very real friend and classmate lost herself in this very occult book in this very impossible place.
Yeah, talk about... That's like finding a treasure in a freaking, in some ruins or something. Like, this book happened to be inside of a house that should not exist. And it is very real.
As expected, the book was written not in Japanese, but a mixture of French and what I could only assume to be magic runes of some sort. As a high school student, I certainly couldn't read any of it, nor could the class rep, but some pages had Japanese notes scribbled in the margins. Notes that were very possibly penciled in by Yoshi Shinozaki. I have no idea if there will be Japanese footnotes for it or not, but I'm betting if I look in the sorcery section. The glint in her eyes was one of this desperation as she continued flipping through the pages. What was she doing? I started to get uncomfortably nervous about this whole thing. Eventually, her legs must have gotten tired as she just sat down on the floor, but she continued paging through the books of shadow.
I mean, you gotta find it kind of odd that there happened to be candles lit at that exact moment, too. Like as if those are the candles of infinite knowledge or something.
Then, finally, she seemed to find whatever it was she was looking for. The sound of stretched skin flipping upon itself stopped, and she just stared. This is it. What? Land of corpses, a spell to open the door of the dead. I think this is what created Heavenly Host. There are notes all over it. There certainly are, but why has the whole page been crossed out like that? I don't know. Maybe the spell failed. Maybe whoever was casting it seized up with fear partway through. I think that was the spell actually she used in that bad end, by the way. But that doesn't matter now. Look at this. Look, Nakashima, raising of corpses, a spell to resurrect the dead. No, that's the spell. No, don't. Rising of corpses. That sounds horrible. Do I have to spell it out for you? Horrible. That sounds like zombies more so than your friends coming back to life and living nonchalantly, happily ever after. That can't actually work, can it? Resurrecting the dead is just impossible. Oh, that glint in her eyes does not look very good. Are you still bound by common sense then? Have you forgotten where we are right now? I had to admit, that was a good point. Reality as I knew it was far different now than it was when I woke up this morning. But, is it okay for us to do something like that? I mean, ethically? Won't we be crossing a line humans aren't meant to cross? Are you scared? With that face? Kinda. Huh? No, you're not just scared. You're also forgetting about all the people we lost. About what they've been going through. Think about Miss Yui, and Suzumoto, and Shinohara, and Morishige. All at their wits' end, suffering in that horrible place. Think about how painful their deaths were, and how their existences were erased from this world. Can you really accept that as a reality? I know I sure can't, and I'm betting the same is true for you. That's right. Our friends were dead. They died and we came here so we could do something about it. And if we didn't do this, nothing would change. They'd still be dead. No hope of ever hearing their voices again. Their faces eventually forgotten. Tears began welling in my eyes. I miss them so much, and I'd do whatever it took to get them back. If I could just see them again. If I could just talk to Seiko even one more time. It's okay. It's okay. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. We climbed our way out of that hell. We broke free from Heavenly Host. So let's follow our hearts now. If there's something we can do to fix this situation, then we have to do it. So come on, let's do it. We're really gonna do it in this haunted house? Are you freaking serious? Can't we bring the book, like, out of the haunted house at least or something? Do it in the barn for all I care. That won't disappear in the freaking daylight. It didn't matter how improbable or even impossible this was. Even if there were only a 1 in a million chance, we had to take it. It was absolutely foolish of us to try this. It was unnatural and unholy and completely inadvisable. But as long as there was that slight possibility, this was something that just had to be done. We weren't about to give up without a fight. I've heard that practitioners of forbidden sorcery suffer even greater payback for their actions than black magic users. But this book wasn't written in Japanese, and I can't read the parts that warn about that. So, out of sight, out of mind, I can handle this. Let the thunder commence. This isn't quite the solution I had in mind, but as long as it let us reunite with the friends we lost, I really don't care. Since they don't even exist in this world anymore, dragging them back by force seems like our only option. Yeah, so let's just do it. Okay, how about we start with Suzumoto? We need a photograph for the spell to work, and I've got one of her with me. Alright. our first attempt at resurrecting the dead was going to be a spell to bring back Mayu Suzumoto. All the materials we needed were present and accounted for in bottles and jars with the room. A beetle carapace, part of an animal's body, etc. Yeah, resurrecting the dead friend that got smashed into little tiny pieces into the wall. That's a great idea. The first step was to carve a pentagram into the floor with a knife, then place 3 paper dolls in the center, of the sort used in the Sachiko ritual. The one in the middle would bear the name of this person we wish to raise. The ones on either side would bear the names of the casters. Our names. So it requires 2 people to cast the spell. Mayu Suzumoto. The class rep was then to place Suzumoto's photo on top of the paper doll dedicated to her. As for our paper dolls, we each had to blow on them 3 times, then cut both our palms with a knife and coat the spell materials in our blood. Yeah, this sounds really, really, like, worse than black magic. Okay, here we go. Be strong. Ow. Ow. My blood mixed together with the class reps in the white ceramic dish, forming one singular globule. I remembered hearing once that everyone's blood is a slightly different color, and found myself thinking of this as I applied pressure to my throbbing palms. With all the setup taken care of, it was now time to chant the spell. Fortunately, these foreign words all had Japanese pronunciations written above them. Aria Temoria, Kanda, Atroius, Inumus, Kalit, Demora? This was starting to feel crazy. I was sitting here listening to the class rep chant a magic spell to raise the dead, for goodness sake. I wasn't sure how much of a grip I had on reality anymore. What were we thinking trying something like this? Would this really bring Suzumoto back? No, I had to concentrate. If I doubted the spell, then the spell would fail. For now, I had to believe that this would work, and I had no reason not to. Retaria, Manamus, Capra, Wicca, Onruka, Topeka, Conda. Topeka? Topeka! Conda! The ritual took several hours to complete, with the class rep carefully chanting away the whole time. Finally, the last word on the last page was spoken. Wow, she did that the entire frickin' time? Hope the sun isn't coming up. Pant, wheeze. Class rep? Are you okay? Come on. Well, do you think it's going to work? Blood red stains that looked almost like letters suddenly have splashed onto the book of shadows, though it was unclear where they'd come from. What? No, if it catches fire, Class rep quickly snatched the book away from the flame that had sprouted on the thin air. The photo of Suzumoto she set down had completely burned to nothing, but the paper doll below it was unscathed. So what does that mean? Does it mean we succeeded? Yeah. Shig? Where are you? That voice was unmistakably Suzumoto's. The two of us took one another's hands, and we just waited. Shig, where are you? Suzumoto! Oh, I didn't mean to say the entire name. I'd started to call out for her, but the class rep held up her other hand to stop me. Something's not right. What do you mean? She's walking in circles. After another few footsteps, we heard the unmistakable sound of a heavy safe door we left ajar opening up all the way. Oh, that's lovely. It's the person that was walking around the house. This was another reason why this was a horrible idea to do right here, right now. Then the footsteps resumed. And this time they were coming towards us. I'd instinctively shrunken back and frozen myself in place, afraid of the unknown presence approaching us from up above. She was certainly in no hurry. Slowly, ploddingly, she climbed down the staircase. Oh! It was Suzumoto, all right. Without a face. Ha! Ha ha! But her face was completely blotted out. No eyes, no nose, no mouth. Good job, guys. I couldn't tell if she was screaming or moaning, but either way, she was clearly in agony. The sound was barely even human. It was a death knell. And this is why I like the voices on, because if the voices aren't on, you don't hear the creepy freaking screams that come out in the game. And that's what kind of sucks about having all voices off. It seems like there should be an option to turn some of the voices on and some of the voices off. Our spell had failed. It should be considered a sound effect, in my opinion. The Suzumoto-like being we'd summoned was lying flat on the ground, face up, writhing and spasming. There was nothing we could do to help her. Nothing at all. As I watched her convulse, I noticed rune-like symbols appearing all over body. All over... body? Wait, I noticed rune-like symbols appearing all over Buddy. What? And then, without warning, her paper doll burst into flames. I would definitely move the paper dolls out of the way if that was going to be the case, because that probably means that if they catch fire, you're going to die. Ew. As soon as it did, blood began spraying from each of the runes on her body like water shooting from a fire hose. Oh! Ew. Her arms, neck, and thighs all separated from her torso, right where the runes had appeared in a moment ago. The Suzumoto-like being moved no more. The flame that had engulfed her paper doll was now completely extinguished, leaving behind nothing but ash. Yeah, that's pretty mortifying. What? Then the class rep fell to her knees as well. She was bleeding from both her arms and legs in the exact spots as the Suzumoto being, and bore the same runic markings. Class rep! Oh boy! You better step on that thing. Okay, screw this.
長の技に丸ノコギリの刃が刺さってる。どうしてどこから飛んできたの？
Yeah, I kind of want to know that too, actually. I want to know where the hell they're coming from. They like, are they just coming out of her freaking arms? And this is why you don't go into haunted houses and their secret basements and perform horribly, horrible, banned spells, you could put it, in a way.
邪術は確か黒魔術以上に術者に返ってくる障害反動が大きいとは聞いているけど。
Yeah, forbidden. That's the word I was looking for.
日本語じゃない部分は読めないし、考えなくていいわ。それぐらい何よ。
Yeah, that's a very stupid thing to say, by the way. Yeah, very payback. Seriously, put it out! How about you take it out of the circle too, by the way? How about you put it out with your foot? Even with all the pain I have to endure with my rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia, I'd be springing up, jumping with adrenaline, trying to frickin' stomp the damn flame out. That better be water and not gasoline.
考えるより前にそれを掴んで火に向かって振りかけた。
Yeah, good job. There's the face I'm used to. Blood began spurting from the mark on the class rep's neck. The rounded saw blade from the desk earlier was sticking into it for some reason. There seemed to be no escape for us. We were destined to die here. This was our punishment for meddling in things no human should, for playing God. And there goes the other one. Mine was on fire too. I was next. There was no fighting this. We were both going to die here. We were going to die horribly and painfully. Are you freaking serious? Where the hell did she come from? Like an angel sent down from on high, our savior suddenly appeared. A woman older than us scrambled down the stairs, calling out the class rep's name. She leapt over the railing and practically dove toward the burning paper dolls.
守護精霊の皆において魔の信仰を退けたまえ。大異徳樹 ポンアクブン。
That sound effect of what happened, like that monstrous sound effect, sounded like a stock sound effect. If I do say so myself. Sis? The fire is out. I had no idea what this woman had just done, but whatever it was, it saved us. The flames were out, and were no longer in danger. The class rep's neck, though gashed, was still fully intact. Sis! Sis! She flung herself at this new arrival and latched on, tears practically exploding from her eyes. I guess this was that sister of hers I'd heard so much about. Oh! Oh! Continue to this game. Okay. Right. Well then. I knew something was gonna happen, but I didn't think that was gonna happen. But part of me just thinks that because she, pretty much stopped the spell, she got the full blunt end of the spell in her face instead. Yeah. I don't know what to say, because technically I'm gonna probably name this part 0, even though this is gonna be like a 2-hour video, but yeah, part 0, because next up we got, gonna get it out of the box. We got Corpse Party Blood Drive right here, the actual game, not the big huge box it comes in. And then what comes in this is well, like Grimoire, which has the same face as the Book of Shadows when it was laughing at everyone. And then we got the soundtrack, which contains, like, it says on the back, it actually is 2 discs, and it comes with 76 tracks in all, so yeah, that's a lot of tracks. And actually, disc 1 contains music from the first Corpse Party and the second Corpse Party, this one, and then the second disc actually has every single song in there is from Blood Drive, so cool. EVP machine. The heck is EVP machine? I think that's the thing that's been like locked off for the entire game. Let me check this out before I end the video. Yeah, this.
Yui sensei. Yui sensei.
Yui sensei, Yui sensei.
Oh, Nico.
Oh, the Nico! How many? There's only 9. Yeah, I didn't think that book would work. Because that's pretty much kind of sort of how it worked out at the end of the bad end on the Windows 98 version of the game. But yeah, I kind of wanted to play that part at least because, again, all these chapters, Seal being chapter 1 to Tooth, are just side chapters besides, I believe it's either Purgatory or Encounter, or both of them actually. The one with Naho and the one with Miss Yui. Those, I believe, are not, those are like prequels to the original Corpse Party, so those you kind of needed to know, but in a way. But anything else, pretty much not needed. I guess Tooth kind of, sort of, is a prequel too, but again, I really just wanted to see the Blood Drive prequel before starting up this actual game, because as you can tell, I'm tired and probably do not want to... I didn't really enjoy the hardly any break of talking, because anytime I took a break, it was literally when there was dialogue on the screen, so... yeah, I would rather just play a game like this one, where you start walking again, like in the first one. So, yeah, I hope that uncovers some things for Blood Drive, and I will catch you all in the first chapter, unless there's a 0-0 chapter in Blood Drive. But, yeah, with that, hope you all enjoyed, and I will catch you all next time. I'm not sure how I'm going to play the game exactly. You can leave a comment or something. But, yeah, not sure exactly how I'm going to play the game yet. Anyways, have a great day.